ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball. You got it?
There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball.
Viva Cuba Libre. Welcome into episode number 24 of the Picked Off Podcast, the hardest hitting 30 minutes of baseball coverage you will get all week. I'm your host, Bitter Mike Babbo. And back in San Antonio, Texas, is my erstwhile partner, Mr. Aric Schuler. Aric, how you doing this afternoon?
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be back in the great state of Texas. It's a little hotter than I'd like, but, been pretty mild. But I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad to get going.
Yeah, I'm wishing I was there with you. We're in Destin, Florida, although there are worse places to be than Western Florida, but it's kind of hot and humid and rainy out over here too. So I'm out here for a conference with a couple of colleagues, and it's nice when it's not raining. But hey, we'll just get after it. Let's lay out this show, Aric. We're gonna first of all take a look at the latest Rangers prospects and how the AL West is shaping up. There's been a lot of moving and shaking around with the some of the rosters, especially with the contenders up at the top, meaning the Astros and the Rangers. We are going to take a sneak peek into this weekend's Hall of Fame ceremonies. We are going to see a couple of no-brainers, a couple of veterans, and we're going to do a little RIP to Dave Parker. And then we're going to take on some key matchups in going on in Major League Baseball this weekend, and we got some really important ones as we head towards the trade deadline. So, Aric, since the break, the Rangers have really stepped it up. They're beating the teams that they need to beat. They took 2 or 3 from the Tigers, which was very important, although the Tigers, even though they're still leading the Central Division, they have really been struggling. They got swept by the Mariners before the break, and then they lost 2 or 3 to the Rangers. The Rangers then went ahead and took care of business against the lowly Athletics, sweeping them, so they're 5-1 against the break. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Houston Astros are really struggling with their roster. They've lost a couple of key guys. Isaac Paredes strained a hamstring back on Saturday. It looks to be a really long rehab. They don't even know if he's going to be back for the season, and so they're going to be doing some mixing and matching. They did beat the Atlanta Braves yesterday. Was it the Atlanta? No, it was the
Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks. Yeah, yesterday they did sweep the Diamondbacks.
They swept the Diamondbacks. I mean, not too shabby, Mike. I mean, Houston is 4-2 since the break, and they have 4 games against the A's. They got 3 games against the lowly Washington team, and I think it's going to be tough for the Rangers to make up some ground here before the Rangers have to go to Seattle.
Yeah, and there's only 6 games left against those Houston Astros, and those 2 series don't happen until middle of September, so they've got some work cut out for them. I really like what's going on with the Texas Rangers rotation. It seems that has been solidified with the return of John Gray, who threw really well yesterday against the Athletics. Jacob deGrom is, not only is he fighting for my odds-on favorite to be AL Comeback Player of the Year, but he's getting some run for the AL Cy Young Award winner. Of course, this is going to be really important because Nate Eovaldi was scratched late on Saturday. He was supposed to start Sunday against Tarik Skubal. He got scratched because of neck spasms. There was going to be an MRI. There's really no word on him yet and how long he's going to be out. But getting John Gray back is huge. Kumar Rocker, his last outing was really solid. Jack Leiter was really solid, and the hitting is starting to come around. They may have found their DH in Rowdy Tellez. I mean, he's been swinging a hot bat for sure. At least getting some balls out of the yard. But Adolis Garcia is still bandied about as a trade chit, but I don't think that's really a smart deal. Corey Seager has been really continuing his hot hitting. So, you might be right.
My question for you, Mike, is when does Texas make the decision on what they are? Right? Are they going to be buyers or are they going to be sellers? And I think if they can pull within 5 games of the Houston Astros by the time they go on the road to Seattle, by the time they get to that series in Seattle. And that's tough sledding. I mean, they're going to have to handle their business against a couple teams here. They're going to have to beat the Angels, right? They're going to have to beat the Braves. And I think they have a little bit easier or harder schedule than the Astros right now. So what they need to do is they need to pick up the phone and call the Athletics and say, hey, we need you to show up against the Astros.
Yeah, and I think the A's play hard. I just think that they play with one hand tied behind their back. Really, they just don't have enough talent, and everybody's banging on Dave Force's phone. Dave Force is the GM of the Oakland Athletics, asking about J.P. Sears. They're asking about even Luis Severino. They're asking about certainly Mason Miller. Mason Miller has been taken off the trade table. But for the right offer, I think that could be really someone that could be had if they give enough prospects in return. So
I'm a little surprised the Yankees haven't made a move yet, Mike.
I am too. This has really been one of the tightest and quietest trade deadlines, and it's quite disappointing too. I mean, now the latest word is the Padres might be looking to move Dylan Cease and his big contract because he's in the first year of a 4-year deal. I believe it was for $44 million. But, for a guy who's throwing the way he's throwing, that might be very, very attractive for, let's say, a Boston Red Sox or a New York Mets team or a New York Yankees team. I'm surprised I don't think it's for a lack of trying on Brian Cashman's part. I just think a lot of people are really holding their cards close to the vest because everybody's in it. Everybody not named the Rockies or the A's or the Nationals or the Orioles or the White Sox. Everybody else is in it. And they just don't want to really tell their fans, look, we know we're only 5 games out or so of the third wild card, but we're going to go ahead and just cut bait.
Yeah, I mean, that's the tricky part that GMs play, right? They play this game of when do they call it? When do they turn the corner? And I think you have a number of teams out there. I mean, we talked about it in last week's episode. This has been a really tough year, a really odd year, a lot of close races. Nobody knows who's a buyer and a seller with the exception of those teams you mentioned. So I'm interested to see what happened. I mean, this is the other thing about this, Mike. Every team in the league right now, regardless of where they are in the division, whether they're leading the division or they're in second or third place, they all have to make improvements to take that next step. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, they really need to get over the hump. I mean, because they need to make some moves to add some depth. Certainly, Rangers could use some back-end bullpen help. They really don't have a closer. They DFA'd Luke Jackson, who was their closer to start with, and then he was relegated to mop-up duty. Now he's gone because they needed to create a space for John Gray, but they still need somebody out there to close games. Maybe they call up GM Dave Dombrowski and say, look, Jordan Romano's not doing it for you. Maybe we can fix him. Maybe you can get him on the cheap, but he's not really cheap. He's got a very expensive contract. Maybe Mason Miller can be get from the Oakland Athletics, but certainly they have to solidify the back end of that bullpen because over the last 10 or 12 years, what really carries you in October is having a 7, 8, and 9 guy. Your starting 4 is going to be who they are, and you really only want to use like 3 starting pitchers. The other 2 starting pitchers are going to be swingmen or long relief in case something blows up. But you really need to turn each game into a 6-inning game, and that's really important for the Rangers right now.
Are there any teams right now, Mike, that you think can stand pat without making a move?
I think maybe
the Tigers.
I think maybe the Tigers. I think that they have the talent. I just think that they need to get out of this slump. I think maybe even the Red Sox. I think maybe they could probably shed some payroll because they're loaded in the position players and in the outfield. They're got a lot of guys that are fighting for roster spots right now. I don't think the Giants can do anything. I think that their payroll is so bloated right now. See, that's the problem, Aric. You're asking me this question, and the big issue is the luxury tax threshold. And a lot of teams, including the Rangers, don't have much room below that threshold, and so they don't want to take a lot of salary. So if they don't want to take on a lot of salary, they're going to ask that trade partner to keep some of that salary for that player that they're acquiring. Well, in return, that team is going to say, well, you're going to have to give me a major league ready prospect. So like for the Rangers, that's going to mean an Evan Carter, or that's going to mean a Josh Young. And so the Rangers, are they willing to do this? Are they willing to partner or part with a major league ready or a young talent like that? I don't think that's the case. Now it's that doesn't apply to teams like the Dodgers, who could use some bullpen help, or the Mets, who could probably use another starter because they got money to burn.
It's true. It's true. I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see what takes place with this deadline. I think Milwaukee and the Chicago Cubs are in one of the best races in the league. I'm interested to see what they do, and I'll tell you what it's going to come down to. I love races this late in the season. I mean, we're more than halfway through here. I love races that come down to who's going to make a move, who's going to solve their problem the best, and that's the epitome of it is Milwaukee and Chicago. They both have holes. The question is which team solves it.
Yeah, no question about it. It's just how much are they willing to spend to do it. So. Anyway, turning on to the festivities that are happening this weekend. In Cooperstown, we are going to have our Hall of Fame ceremonies. The inductions are going to be the inductees, I should say, are going to be the Seattle Mariners celebrated outfielder Ichiro Suzuki, CC Sabathia of the New York Yankees, Cleveland Indians, and Milwaukee Brewers. Billy Wagner on his 10th and final vote from the Houston Astros and New York Mets and Atlanta Braves. He gets in. And the two veterans picks were Dick Allen from the Philadelphia Phillies and the late, great Dave Parker of the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's going to be an incredible ceremony. I'm really looking forward to seeing if Ichiro actually gives out his Hall of Fame ceremony in English or in Japanese with an interpreter. I'd like to see what CC Sabathia, who's always good for a quote, what he's going to say. And, of course, Billy Wagner, he's had a long road to hoe. And, I'm really looking forward to the memorial for Dave Parker. I think it's just an absolute shame that he passed away so soon before he was to be inducted. At 74 years old of Parkinson's disease. Dick Allen passed away a couple of years before, but so I'm really, really excited to see that. It's a great atmosphere, and of course it's just wonderful to see. What do you think, Aric?
Yeah, I love the Hall of Fame. I tune in every year for the induction ceremony. I will tell you, I wanted to attend one specific induction ceremony a couple of years back, but COVID kind of hindered our plans to attend, and that was when Jeter was going in. Mm-hmm. But, my favorite part about this particular Hall of Fame is I love seeing all the old-timers, right? Like Sandy Koufax is going to be there. Raleigh Fingers is going to be there. Those guys are mainstays. I mean, Raleigh Fingers has not missed an induction since he became a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, 33 years. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see all those guys, sit in the background there. This is a magical deal. I don't care what anybody says. This is the best Hall of Fame in sports. This is a Hall of Fame that means something, and so every year I get kind of jazzed up about it. I'm excited for these guys. Surprisingly, I'm probably more excited for Wagner than any of them. I think the other two guys, outside of the legends, right? But I think those, the other two guys were going to get in, but Wagner on his 10th and final, ballot, I mean, just he's going to be over the moon, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and it was a very emotional video that they posted out when he was finally got the call. He was just 5'10", 180 pounds, but man, he could really blow up by you. 16-year career, 422 saves, the eighth most in MLB history, split between the Astros, Phillies, Mets, and Red Sox and Braves, and so he was the epitome of a lockdown closer when he was at his best. I mean, there was nobody better at his time And so I'm really happy for him. I know that I hated facing when he was with the Mets as a Giants fan, because it was pretty much shut the door and turn out the lights. So I was really happy for him. I'm really happy for CC because, everybody knows about his turnaround in life. I mean, he had struggles with alcohol where, it's well documented, and he's turned his life around. He's become a better father, a better person, and he's become a great ambassador for baseball. I'm just really happy for him. And of course, Ichiro, I mean, what can you say about him? I mean, he did it all. I remember seeing him when he won the MVP in the All-Star game in 2007. I went to that All-Star game in San Francisco, and his inside the park home run was just incredible. As soon as that ball split the gap between right and center field, I looked at my buddy and I said, he's going all the way. And he went in coasting, standing up on an inside the park home run. And there was just nobody better like him. I mean, and, he hit his home runs, but he didn't have to. I mean, he was an absolute pain in the neck at the plate, and he just had an absolute cannon of an arm. And so kudos to them for making it. And turning to next year's ballot.
Hold on, Mike. I do want for the fans out there, I do want to talk a little bit. This always intrigues me. I care about this sort of stuff. I don't know why, but a lot of these guys played for different teams, so I kind of want to run through kind of what caps they're going in under. Obviously Ishiro's easy. He's going to be a Mariner, right? Wagner's going in as an Astro. I mean, personally, I'm not going to hold that against him. But I would pick one of the other teams if it was me. And then Sabathia's going to go in as a Yankee, so pretty excited about that. And then the other two guys, Parker easy as a Pirate, and then Allen easy as a Philly. So pretty excited for those guys. I'm always interested to see what caps these guys are going to choose, but it really kind of sheds some light on kind of where they feel like they sowed their oats.
Yeah, the only one that was really controversial for me, and maybe it wasn't controversial for you, but when Reggie Jackson went in, he went in as a Yankee. But I was hoping that he would go in as an Oakland A because he spent a good chunk of his time as an Oakland Athletic. But he made his bones as a Yankee, so I guess I can understand that. Carlton Fisk, I know there was a lot of bad blood between him and the Red Sox brass. Actually, he played more games as a White Sox than the Red Sox. But listen, he made history as a Red Sox. So I was hoping that he would go in as a Beantowner. But
100%. I mean, that's the way it works. So I'm always excited to see what hats they're going to wear because I've seen it before where I've been disappointed and I like I said, this year's crop seems to be a little bit of a no-brainer. But Wagner did play for the most number of teams here. But yeah. So moving on to next year, what are we thinking, Mike?
Well, the most intriguing names are Carlos Beltran, who's in his fourth year of eligibility. He got 70% last year, really, really close. Andrew Jones in his ninth year, he got 2/3 of the votes. For me, Andrew Jones is a lock. As far as I'm concerned, when he was playing for the Braves and he was out there roaming center field, if you hit it out to center field, you better hit it over the wall because otherwise he's going to go get it. Yeah, he may have looked smooth in doing it, maybe a little bit lazy, but you know what? That's because he got such a great jump. He didn't have to really move that fast. He was a lot like Joe DiMaggio.
I'm going to tell you, dude, he ran like a gazelle. Smooth.
He really did. Chase Utley is in his third year. He got a little bit less than 40%. Alex Rodriguez is in his fifth year. Surprising. I thought he was farther along than that. He got 37%. Manny Ramirez is in his 10th and final year. I honestly hope to never see him again on a Hall of Fame ballot. He got 34%. Andy Pettit in his 8th year, 28%. Felix Hernandez, King Felix at 20%. He's in his second year. And those are really the ones that are really is kind of close. First-timers will be Cole Hamels, Ryan of the Philadelphia Phillies, Ryan Braun of the Milwaukee Brewers. I'm not sure if he's going to get in because of his. No, let me repeat that, or let me rephrase. He's not getting in because of his steroids. There's no way, and the way that how he handled it.
There is absolutely no way any of these steroids guys get in.
No,
I mean,
no.
The guys that are sitting on the ballot is who I'm referencing.
Yeah, A-Rod, Manny, Ryan Braun, no way. I don't think so.
Not going to happen.
No,
It's not going to happen.
not gonna happen.
I'm going to tell you, you have to be as clean as it comes to be able to overcome that, a la David Ortiz, right?
Right.
You have to be well loved. The fans have to love you. You have to have a Hall of Fame career. That's a big factor. I think, I'll go as far as to say, I think you have to be legendary. Big Papi is legendary in Boston. He came up huge. He defined that city and that team for a long time. And so I think you have to be that. And on top of that, you have to be squeaky clean. And so I don't see these guys that are caught up in this steroid era, with the exception of being squeaky clean and being legendary, being able to get in.
Yeah, and not just that. I mean, he was the face of the city during the Boston Marathon bombing, and he really was a leader in picking up that city from such a terrible tragedy. So kudos.
100%. So
to
if
him.
you had to call it, do you think, out of the guys that are on the ballot next year, who are you thinking? Do you think Utley ends up getting in, Mike?
Who is that?
Chase Utley?
I don't know. I don't think he gets in this year, in 2026. But I think eventually he gets in. I mean, he's at 40%.
I'm not really asking. I'm not asking you to make a call next year. I'm just saying these guys that eventually get in that are on the ballot next year.
So the guys who eventually get in, I think Carlos Beltran, Andrew Jones, Chase Utley, and maybe even Pettit, although he's only got 2 years left on the ballot, and he hasn't even garnered any more than 30%.
Yeah, so he's one of those guys where I do believe Andy Pettit is squeaky clean, right? I believe he's beloved player.
Sure.
My issue is I just don't know if he has a Hall of Fame career. It's that simple. I think he could get over the steroids if he had 300 wins.
Yeah, he's only
3,000 strikeouts.
Right, and he's only got 256 wins.
Yeah, he's only got 256. So I just think that's if he had 300, he's the type of guy that I think could overcome his and the way that he handled it with such grace.
Yeah.
In front of his colleagues, and I'm talking about legendary colleagues, Hall of Fame colleagues.
Sure.
And so those are the types of guys I think could get in, but I just don't think he has a Hall of Fame type career.
Yeah, I really hope that Andrew Jones gets in. I really hope that Andrew Jones does get in. I hope Carlos Beltran does get in. First timer that could probably get in for me is Nick Markakis. At the time that he left baseball, he had the fourth most hits of any active player. With 2,388, and a 288 career batting average. I just think that his longevity really should set him apart and should get him over the hump. Do I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer? Of course not. He didn't have an absolutely stellar career, but a career slugging percentage of 423 was not great, but a 781 OPS in 190 home runs over the career, but he was just a solid, steady presence in on the diamond, and he just had a really long and really solid career. And so maybe he gets in, I don't know, the 8th, 9th ballot. I don't see anybody else as a first timer getting in at all. I mean, I don't think Cole Hamels, possibly Cole Hamels gets in. But he only had 163 wins, a 3.45 ERA. It's possible, but I don't think it's probable. And then the closest maybe is Alex Gordon, 2-time platinum glove winner, 9-time Gold Glove winner with the Kansas City Royals. He did win a ring in 2015, a couple of pennants. Including that ring. So we'll see. But I'm looking forward to the Hall of Fame festivities this weekend.
Absolutely.
Turning to this weekend's key matchups, right off the bat, your New York Yankees are going to host the division leading. Actually, excuse me, they're second in the NL East now. The Philadelphia Phillies, who've kind of hit a skid. They're kind of treading water. They've lost 5 of their last 10. And they come into town. Taijuan Walker faces Will Warren on Friday. Ranger Suarez goes up against Marcus Stroman on Saturday. And then the big matchup on Sunday is Zach Wheeler versus Carlos Rodon. How do you see that, Aric?
I'll tell you, I don't think the Yankees are playing very good baseball. I could see this. I could see Philly taking 2 or 3 here. I could see it. They're at home. The Yankees are at home. And I could see Philadelphia coming in here and kind of righting the ship. I wish I felt better about where the Yankees are. I'm disappointed they haven't made a move. And I'll tell you, they had a chance to do something against Toronto. They lost 2 or 3 to Toronto. They're only 3-3 since the All-Star break. So I don't think they're playing great baseball. I think they're playing 500 type ball. Maybe they steal one from Philly, but I don't see it. They need to get Tampa Bay. They can't get to Tampa Bay soon enough, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, the Yankees are kind of struggling too. They still, like you said, they still need that bat. They still need to solidify their
third base
position. They still need, I think, some help in the back end of the bullpen for certain, because Devin Williams, I don't think, is the answer there. I mean, he's just so up and down. But however, the Phillies, they've been struggling too, especially even with their rotation. I mean, Jesus Luzardo had a 5-0 lead yesterday against the Red Sox at home. And next thing you know, he loses his control, walks 2 guys in, and gives up a grand slam. And, they lost that game in extra innings. I think it was 9-8. So, look, I love Jesus Luzardo, but since his first 10 starts, he's just been really hittable. And
I think when that sort of stuff happens, you've heard me say this before. I think it comes down to there's something going on. I think he's tipping his pitches. And they need to figure that out. When a guy goes,
well, wait a minute, he wasn't tipping his pitches when he walked 2 guys in. I mean, he walked like 5 guys.
Yeah, that's a different deal. Obviously that's a problem.
He's just trying to throw something for a strike.
Go from having electric stuff, people are struggling to hit you, and then all of a sudden, you look like Ned in the first grade out there.
Yeah.
I mean, my opinion is there's something else going on there that pitching staff, or I'm sorry, the pitching coach needs to figure out.
Yeah. Next series is the Dodgers traveling to Beantown to face the Red Sox. They are 6 games behind the Toronto Blue Jays. They are in the 3rd wild card spot currently, a game and a half ahead of the Tampa Bay Rays. And they sent the Dodgers will send Emmett Sheehan, one of their rookies, who has actually been doing pretty well against Brian Balo, on Friday. Clayton Kershaw goes on Saturday for the Dodgers against Garrett Crochet. He is vying for a Cy Young. He's throwing lights out. And then on Sunday will be Dustin May, who has been the subject of trade talk, believe it or not, against the old Dodger, Walker Buehler. Aric, what are your thoughts?
I like Boston here. I think Boston is going to get on a tear here. That's what I think. I think they're going to compete for the AL East, and I like Boston at home here. My brother was just in Boston a week ago. Him and my nephew went to a game, said it was electric. Fans are fired up there. They have a great fan base there. So I like Boston in this series personally.
Yeah, Rob Refsnyder is actually doing really good things at the leadoff spot. Jarren Duran, who is also a subject to trade talk for the Red Sox, he's been doing very well. And of course, they've got a Rookie of the Year candidate in Carlos Narvaez. He has been managing that pitching staff very well, and he's hitting like 270. So that's not easy to do behind the plate. So things are looking up for Boston. They came into the break winning 10 in a row, and then they lost the first 2 to Chicago. But then they righted the ship. They won the last game, and then they swept the I believe they swept the Angels, right? So good for them. And, that'll be an important series. The Dodgers have been scuffling a little bit. They've had some injuries.
Yeah, I would tell you, don't look now. I think the Dodgers, one of the oldest teams in baseball, I think they're going to struggle down the stretch.
Yeah.
I think they're going to struggle down the stretch. So we'll see if they make any moves. But I think 162 games, a long season. We'll see what happens. They got the Padres 4.5 games out. They got your San Francisco Giants. A little disappointed about after the All-Star break.
Tell me about it. But Eric, I went to that game Monday night, and I never seen a team quit like they did. They quit. I know that they won the next two games, but that really ticked me off.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Buster Posey better start throwing chairs in the locker room.
Oh, if I were Bob Melvin, I would have flipped the food table. I mean, when Hayden Birdsong finally got pulled after not recording an out and throwing and walking four guys and hitting a batter, I was close enough to yell at him. I said, "Don't even let him shower. Just send him on a plane right then and there." He was, and sure enough, they sent him back down to AAA Sacramento, which is where he should be, because for the last 5 or 6 starts, he's been an absolute mess. And then the shoddy defense by Helio Ramos, who's got to be the worst defensive left fielder I've ever seen in my life, and then Jung Ho Lee with his short arm relay throws into the infield after botching a couple of balls in the outfield. It was an absolute joke. I mean, they were never in that game. And, of course, all they did was just the only bright spot, actually, was Willie Adames. I think he had 3 hits, including a home run. But, I mean, by that time, the schedule was all, or the script was already written. I mean, it looked like a team that absolutely quit. But then, that's how baseball is. What do? Landon Raup comes in, shuts them out, 9-0. And then they score yesterday? They scored 3 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th, and just basically won it going away. But they still had a 2-4 road trip after getting swept by Toronto. Look, taking nothing away, Toronto's a great team. They are hot. They
playing good baseball.
They're
right
playing
now.
Good baseball. They don't strike out. They steal bases. They play solid defense. And is it bad to get swept?
No rest for the weary for San Francisco. I mean, they got the Mets coming to town this weekend.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough series. The Mets are fighting for they're trying to stay in first place in their division. So I think San Francisco needs to kind of get on it. Plus they can't allow that wild card spot to kind of pull away. I think they need to be very much kind of have a talk to self in the mirror and say, hey, we got to step up here.
Yeah, well, got off the rails, but that's my rant against the Giants. I just, we were with colleagues and customers and stuff, and everybody knows I'm a Giants fan, and I got my Giants polo on, and they do that to me. It's like, you embarrass me. It's just,
I get it. But series I'm the most excited for this weekend. I'm excited to see 2 ball clubs. I think one ball club is probably the best team in the league right now, and the other ball club is playing very good baseball. I'm really excited to see Toronto go to Detroit, mainly because I'd like to see Detroit kind of get off the schneid here and handle their business against Toronto, because it might help my Yankees.
Yeah, they've lost 9 of 10.
They've lost 9 of 10. So we're going to see what happens. I think this could be. I love talking about turning points for teams. I think this could be a turning point for Toronto. I think if they go in there and they solidify and they beat Detroit, they beat a bad Detroit team, maybe they beat up on them, maybe a little sweep. I think you could see Toronto kind of say, hey, we're here to stay, as opposed to a week ago I said, man, I don't know, I think it's fool's gold up there. But right now the Yankees are not impressive, and it doesn't look like Cashman's going to pull anything out of the hat here at this point.
Yeah, they got their big studs, the Toronto Blue Jays do, going this weekend. Jose Barrios, La Máquina, the machine, goes to tomorrow night against Cater Montero for the Tigers, who is 4-2, so he's no slouch either. Saturday, it's Kevin Gausman against Tarek Skubal. Gausman's been pitching very well as of late. And then on Sunday, it's Max Scherzer goes up against Jack Flaherty. So
back to my point, and back to your point about DeGrom competing for the AL Cy Young. Skubal, I think, if he lands the plane here, I think he's going to win that award going away.
Yeah, but I just think for a 37-year-old after 2 years, I think he's just going to get some run. But yeah, if Skubal keeps doing what he's doing, I think I agree. I think he's the odds-on favorite to win. But this is like you said, this is a very important series for both teams. Toronto needs to establish themselves or continue to establish themselves and get some distance between them and the Yankees. And Detroit needs to right the ship. They're not hitting that well, and their pitching, especially on the back end, is kind of starting to leak oil a little bit. So
Year in, year out, Mike. You see it happen. You have
Yeah.
young teams like this. This is a long season. That manager needs to go to work.
Yeah. Over 162 games, even the best teams will lose 50 games, even though the best ones will have some losing streaks. I remember the Giants in 1993 when they won 103 ball games, but a 9-game losing streak in mid-September did them in, and they lost the division by 1 game to the Atlanta Braves, who for some reason were in the NL West in 1993. Don't understand that one, but that's the way it happened. So anyway, any other thoughts, Aric, before we sign off?
That's it. Make sure you tune in. They got some good baseball this weekend. So
Absolutely.
I'm excited about a lot of these matchups.
That'll do it for this episode of the Picked Off Podcast. Next week, Aric and I will be back together in studio, and we will be previewing the latest going on in the trade deadline. We want to thank you all for listening in. We also want to thank you for your feedback. We want to make this show better because we do it for you. You can catch us every week on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on X at The Bitter Mike or on Instagram, BitterMike1963. Time is precious, so we appreciate you spending some of yours with us talking the great game of baseball. Have a great weekend, everyone. See ya.
See ya.